Hey, it's Stu, and I keep putting off videos because I just can't get rid of this head cold. And I'm leaning more towards allergies. We got some cherry blossoms really going. I went out on a walk today and came back more stuffed up than before I left. So I guess stuffy is stuffed up maybe is the state of my existence right now, and I need to quit putting off videos because I'm reading as much as normal. So my next week-ish TBR is including Women's Prize for Fiction backlist-ish, the Irish authors reading challenge, which I think I'll make like at least a separate short about, and then international booker inspired books. So remembering that all books all books that I choose are just kind of inspired, like these prizes and or goings-ons and or reading challenges inspire books for me to read so that I can stay engaged in reading, but I never take anything too seriously or literally, although I tend to be in practice quite strict. I just have to remind myself that, the interpretation is for me, and the participation is for me. So let's start with International Booker. The very first International Booker winner in 2026 was The Vegetarian. Hong Kong has also won the Nobel Prize, and I only recently found this book and have since hauled a couple. Well, my son got me my first Hong Kong book. This is the one that I wanted to start with, and I recently found it at my Friends of the Library as one of my 2 free books. So I'm really excited that this is going to be my International Prize for Fiction inspired, and in fact winning author and book for the next coming up week, hopefully, for Irish authors and or literature and or the especially the reading challenge, which I will make another video for, at least a short, and give all of the props to the people running the challenge. I'm going to read, and also for Women's Prize. Like, this is ticking a lot of boxes. So Women's Prize for Fiction backlist, Normal People by Sally Rooney, but it's also an Irish author, which is who I'm reading at least some of during the month of March. And it also has green on the cover, or is a green, albeit green and blue cover. So this book ticks a lot of boxes. The Vegetarian, for anyone who doesn't know, is about a woman who becomes a vegetarian, and the book is told from the points of view of her close family members who are engaging with her decision, and we never hear her point of view. Normal People, I think, almost goes probably with anyone watching YouTube videos about books without any kind of need for summarizing. In fact, I think probably most people know more than I do. I've only read Sally Rooney's Intermezzo. This is a love story, a coming of age, figuring out relationships kind of situation. Also, now I'll shift to the Women's Prize for Fiction long list, backlist. A Hero's Walk by Anita Rai Badami. This is one of the older ones, meaning this was published not as much as how long I've had it on my shelf. Oh, someone wrote in this book. Oh, it's signed. It's signed in June 2001. Wow. Not to me, but I could easily change a few letters of the names of the person it's signed to. So already that this was signed in 2001, so it's at least before that. And so now we're talking about more than 20-year-old book, a 25-year-old book. Okay, so this one I think is a planned listen. And then also, Patina Gafa, The Book of Memory. Both of these books have come from my Friends of the Library They are a huge supplier of my books and a huge part of my bookish actual interpersonal reaction. So the Book of Memory was also, according to the promotion on the front, longlisted for what was once known as the Bailey's Women's Prize. I think it's now just known as the Women's Prize for Fiction. I think it was like 2016. And the Book of Memory is about an incarcerated woman in Zimbabwe, I think. And she's asked to write, she's incarcerated due to murder. And she's asked to write down her stories, basically how she got to this place. And that's what this book is looking at. I have not finished because I haven't had the sunlight to finish The Blinding Absence of Light, but I kind of hope to finish that in and around when I'm reading this book. Okay, so by two authors who have been on the long list at least once, but not the books who have been, not the actual books that have been longlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction. For some reason I chose Horse. I've had it. It was my second Geraldine Brooks book to find after The Story of the Book. And I think I felt kind of compelled to get this off my shelf just because it's been there longer. And this was one of the books that I got in that like 10 books for $5 kind of rummage situation. And I think this is a little bit like, this is a story, I think, of a Kentucky Derby horse. That's what I think, told from like multiple points of view and even maybe through multiple timelines. And I thought that was a little bit different, a little bit of a shift from some of the really, really heavy stuff that I've been reading. So historical fiction, I think Geraldine Brooks, Australian, maybe Australian American, I don't know, but Australian author. And then lastly, but not leastly, what I hope and plan to read in the next however long it takes me to read this batch of books, and other things could come off hold and bump them out of the way, is How We Were Beautiful by Mbolo Mboy. And I think it was, hold on, I'm going to turn my head because this is her sophomore, and I think it was her debut, Behold the Dreamers, that was longlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction. But for whatever reason, I chose this one. I think it's because it's been on my shelf longer, or I just randomly, maybe I was mistaken. It doesn't matter. I got this at, oh yeah, I got this at a Goodwill in a place that I don't go often. So it's only like 2 times a year. So, yeah, I'm really excited. This has been an author who's been sitting on my shelf for quite a while, whom I haven't got to. And so where I read Geraldine Brooks, where I read Sally Rooney. Okay, those are the only 2 authors that I've read before. I've had this book for a while, and it's one of those excited to get to reading it, because when I hauled it, I was really excited about reading it, and I hauled it probably about 8 months ago. So that is my TBR. I don't know. Like I said, things could get bumped, but I'm seeing some bigger books and some smaller books. I'm seeing some really heavily themed books. How beautiful we were. Let me just give a quick synopsis. A fictional imagined African town and country, and there's an oil and like international oil company that comes and exploits all of the resources and pollutes the town. And that's this is a story of the consequences therein. Yeah, that's what I understand this book to be about. I normally don't like to know that much about books going in, because I just like to, I like for the book and all of its premise and all of its everything to reveal itself. So sorry if I didn't give too many synopsises, but that's my reading plans. And next will come my review video. I'm almost done with my weekish of reading from the last TBR. So